The third step is telling it to the church, and we need to determine which people or groups in the church to approach first. This will also take discernment between the parties directly affected. Who all's involved? What relationships are impacted? How is your church organized, and under which area of church life does it fall? In a congregation of 200, it probably isn't worth the time to air an issue that only affects several members in an insignificant way. However, if it's a wide-ranging issue, then a larger group meeting may be appropriate. Discern this with the people who are involved, as well as the respected neutral parties and the appropriate leadership boards at your church. Working on conflict is spiritual work. When we take the problem to the church, we assume that the church is the place to process and work with conflict, not a place that's free from conflict. Working on conflict together involves an encounter with ourselves, with God, and with others. Remember that reconciliation is the goal of the Matthew 18 process, just as reconciliation is the mission of the church. Conflict is normal, spiritual work. Find people with the skills and spiritual wisdom to work with larger groups of people. Keep this question at the front of your discussions. What is God trying to teach you through this conflict? How can we make the church a place where this encounter, this growth and reconciliation can take place? Well, church leaders should spend some time discerning the nature of the conflict and develop a forum for handling the conflict. Using prayer, they need to seek the guidance of the Holy Spirit and test ideas with respected others who have the necessary skills. It's a combination of guidance of God's sustaining spirit and practical skills when we're engaging in conflict. Reconciliation is a spiritual act. Remember, reconciliation is not necessarily going back to what was, but is bringing about what should be. Reconciliation is healing personal and social wounds. It is new growth. It is new creation. The big challenge at this step is the number of people involved is changing. The group is getting larger, and it calls for creativity in finding ways to express the conflict in group settings that are both responsible and constructive. We people in the church are imperfect vessels, yet we are also living testimonies of the mission of reconciliation, because we were once enemies with God, but have been reconciled through the gift of His Son Jesus. If we are still unable to come to a common understanding, even after all the personal and community work, we will then move on to step 4.